O'clock. I'm going to call the council meeting to order. If you could all rise for a moment of silence. Oh, I'm sorry. We have someone to give an invocation tonight. What's that? Please. Thank you.
What's his name?
I didn't see you back there.
You're good. Let's pray. Jesus, I just come to you today, Lord, and we thank you for this time that we get to gather and do the business of our city. I pray that you be with our city officials, our council people, and that you would just lead them and guide them. Lord, it says that your word is a lamp to our feet. So, Lord, I pray that they just take everything to prayer and everything to your word before making decisions for our town. I pray that you would lead us and guide us. I pray that you would be with the citizens that come out and are invested in this community, Lord, that you would just give them strength and courage as they make their worries known and how to better this community. I pray that you would just be, your presence would just be in this room tonight as we make decisions. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much. If you could turn and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Could you do a roll call of council members, please?
Lehman. Here. Kodak.
Here.
Cassidy.
Here.
Baker.
Here.
Hall.
Here.
Mendoza. Here. Lake.
Here.
We're all present. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the video minutes of the previous meeting?
I'll move to approve the previous meeting minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mendoza, a second by Baker to approve the minutes. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Kodak.
Yes.
Cassidy.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Mendoza.
Yes.
Lake.
Yes.
Lehman. Abstain.
They have been approved. Do you have any communications?
I have none.
We'll move into reports to committee, the Finance Committee.
Nothing new to report. Next meeting will be Tuesday, October 15th at 5:30 p.m. in council chambers.
Thank you very much. Public Affairs Committee.
I only have one event to announce. America Needs Fatima is inviting the public to attend their event, Rosary Rally, next Saturday, October 12th at the City Building Courtyard.
Thank you. Law and Ordinance Committee.
Nothing new to report. We will meet again Tuesday, October 15th at 5:15 here in council chambers.
Thank you very much. We will move into the report of officers. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Tonight, we're asking that you approve a new position titled Municipal Project Manager. As we get into more and more projects related to infrastructure, we need an informed expert to oversee these projects, which will save the city money over the long run. We currently outsource almost all of this work at significant expense to the city, and we are one of the few cities in the area who does not have such a person on staff. This person will report to the Safety Service Director, must be or be able to obtain an LPA certification, and will help us in areas of coordination and management, local expertise, communication, problem solving, accountability, and resource optimization. We are also asking for authorization to complete the improvements to the bridge at City Park with the second part of the Hancock County Park District, which was the ordinance just distributed to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Director of Law.
Thank you. No report from me tonight.
Great, thank you. We will move into the public portion of the meeting. This evening, we have 3 people who have requested time to speak. Those people are requested to limit their comments to 10 minutes. I wanted to iterate that we request that you make statements to this body. Questions are considered rhetorical, and this body does not have to respond. There is not going to be dialogue between this body at the time of your statement, that we can meet outside of these chambers. We can meet on our own time. You can come up during business hours, make appointments with the executives or the legislative people that you wish to speak with. But again, questions would be deemed as rhetorical. They do not have to be addressed by this body. I will have more to say after the public portion is over. The first person up on the docket is Deb Tyson.
Hi, Deb Tyson, 800 Woodward Avenue, Lot 9. I just wanted to bring it to the attention that we have a lot of issues with the one-way street parking, and I have been telling everyone that it's being worked on, but honestly, I don't know the progress. Parking on one side, I should say. I should correct that. And I directed them to either seek out Councilperson Amy Mendoza or Tom Lake, as they are on the Law and Order Committee. And if that's wrong, then somebody needs to get a hold of me. And the other thing is, I fell on a sidewalk the other day, and I really wish there was a way that if it can't be fixed by the city, that maybe the street department can go and paint once it's reported that somebody actually, because mine happened that I fell on a piece of sidewalk and somebody 2 months prior broke a bone. So it's a repeated piece. I went and walked to the Wendy's, and the owner has painted yellow paint where there's like it's a step. It's like the difference between here and here. And they painted yellow, I guess maybe hoping that people realize the visual. So I don't know if that's something that can be done, but yeah, and I've had to seek more time with everyone, and I plan to seek a lot more time with everyone because there are a lot of questions that need answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me reset my stopwatch here. All right. The next speaker up on the public docket this evening is Renee Vogelsong.
Renee Vogelsong, 702 East High Street. A few years ago, I mentioned this, not the last meeting because I wasn't present, but the meeting before, about the corner of East High and Springville, the manhole cover. All right, I come in a few years ago and it was supposed to have been taken care of. Oh, no, they went out and they spray painted an X on it. That's all they did. There's nothing on it now. 2 days ago, there was a pickup that flew around the corner and I heard it. Bam, 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 right out my window. He hit it. He drove over it. No big deal. At least he didn't blow a tire. A few of y'all got to see the pictures of it. It's pretty bad that this is only this much grass area in between a 5-inch high manhole cover out of the ground and the road, right on a curve. Now, I guess y'all was waiting for somebody to really get in a bad accident or end up in my porch. They end up in my porch. This ain't gonna be fun. Okay. But something's got to be done. It was mentioned. Now, such a bad thing going on. Why can't they go out there with a couple stakes and some caution tape until they fix it? Get some, put something out there. Don't put a cone. They're going to steal it like they did down the street. But fix it somehow. But until you fix it, let's do something temporary. Get something on it. Somebody is going to seriously get hurt or worse out of it. I mean, they don't know what 25 mile an hour is, and they don't know what 15 mile an hour on that curve is. So two vehicles match on that curve. Somebody's into that, and they got a blowed tire. One of my pictures shows my car. Okay, this shows 5 inches. It's up out of the ground 5 inches along the blacktop. Here's my car. My undercarriage is 5.5 inches off the ground. That's a 1/2 inch. So what's that going to do? Guess where that goes? That goes into the rim. It don't go into the tire. Somebody's going to get seriously hurt. And it's foolish on the city's part to leave it go. There's no need in it. It's been noted a few years ago. It was noted a month ago. And here we are again. I would sort of hope to have somebody out there tomorrow or the next day, at least put some caution tape around it. And then after that, put a guardrail, whatever you want to do. But something's got to be done with it. And it's the same way we spoke about the corner over here. The ramp for wheelchairs, carts, what have you, getting up and down. Oh, it's going to be fixed. It's going to be fixed when they do the rest. You know what? It's still a bad case over there. Can't they put a barrier? We can do, wait for somebody to get hurt there? Fall right out in the intersection? That's not going to be pretty neither. I think the city is lacking somewheres, whether it's in the safety service department or someplace, the city is lacking on paying attention to these bad things that can happen. I mean, I understand other things got to be fixed too. And I'm first to tell other people, you got to give the city time to get something fixed. But when it's such a bad thing, I think it needs to be fixed a little bit quicker. Thank you.
Thank you. The third and final person that requested time to speak is an anonymous citizen. So if the anonymous citizen is here, would you like to come up and address council?
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. I wasn't sure if I was going to be put on the schedule or just allowed to speak for the 3 moments. But the reason I want to speak to City Council and the community is because of the times that I've had since 2021 with the city, when I simply called the police station asking them to enforce a law. All I know is my story is quite lengthy and well exceeds the allotted time to speak here tonight. I could touch base on a couple things, like the 4 criminal charges I was charged with in 2021 that were nothing but retaliation charges that were later on dismissed, dropped and dismissed, or found not guilty by a sit-in judge that was between Rep and Best. Those charges ended in March of 22. March 1st, I believe it was. March 17th, I came to this building asking some questions. I wanted to know how I was treated so terribly by so many different people in this building. That was the first time I recorded myself coming into this building. The video lasts about 30 minutes. I come in, I ask questions, I'm frustrated. Maybe even I'm a little bit of an asshole on occasions, but I didn't break any laws. When my video stopped, I dialed a phone number and stood outside in the front grass talking to an elected official that's sitting in this room right now for nearly 30 minutes on the phone. The police report from that day makes it sound like I'm some deranged criminal coming in here and busting in these offices with a camera and asking questions. They try to make it sound like a criminal. Anyways, the police report says I'm in the front yard yelling and cussing and being a criminal. That was not the case. I was simply on the phone with a city council member because I didn't know who else to call or what to do. I quickly noticed police officers standing at all the doors staring at me outside. I did not longer feel comfortable out in the front yard of this city building, and I got in my vehicle and I started driving down Tiffin Street. The police report said I fled the scene. I just simply left because I was a free man who just a block and a half down the road gets pulled over on a traffic stop, not because of a traffic violation, simply to be unlawfully detained, waiting for another officer to bring a trespass warning, banning me from the city, I was told. I was told by the first officer that it was because of the boss of the police, was his words on the video. The boss of the police, which was then Safety Service Director Josh Clark. Eventually, another officer brought this trespass warning down that simply said City of Fostoria. There wasn't even an address. From March 17th to March 24th of 2022, I was trespassed from the whole damn city of Fostoria until I was cornered on Grant Street by an officer and delivered a new trespass warning that updated the address to 213 here, South Main Street. So, well, at that point in time, I really didn't know the laws. I didn't know my rights, didn't know any of that. So I stayed away. End of 2022, I got cancer. I got stage 4 cancer. Had some surgery on my spine in January of 23. I'm up and walking. And the end of March, I come back to this building to ask some more questions because I've been trespassed from a city building for trying to obtain public records and ask questions in the middle of the day. I'm arrested 2 times, once in March and once in April, by Captain Brooks for simply just wanting to come in this building. I was discriminated against, harassed, slammed up against the wall, my phone thrown like it's trash, cussed at by Captain Brooks. Captain Brooks then lied in court and said he never told me that the arrest was connected to the trespass warning, which, if anybody has seen anything on Facebook, last October, our chief of police, Mr. Wedge, sitting in the back, shut down the Fostoria Facebook page because there was videos with me in it. Shut the commenting off. Hours later, turned it back on only to make a post calling me out, telling me that it's all a big lie and I'm a criminal. He posts videos on a YouTube, his personal YouTube account, that are public records. They were the body cam footage from Officer Dennis. That if you watch the videos, when Captain Brooks gives me the ticket, I ask him what exactly this for, and his words were 2 different times. It's because of the trespass warning that was issued. The trespass warning is unconstitutional. Therefore, the arrest and everything else was unlawful and unconstitutional. Our law department, consisting of Ms. Stephanie Kaiser and Barb Dybel, have relentlessly kept me in court since 2021. I'm still in court today. They had trespassing charges on me that they fought for over a year and dropped. The judge, records will show that the judge acknowledges my constitutional rights and also acknowledges that the trespass warning is unconstitutional. I connected the dots for her, and Judge Best still found me guilty. It's easily proven by record, everything I say. Either a public record from a department in this building or a video. So I could go on and ramble on about more times that my rights were violated and petty actions by the city was done, such as posting policies that tell you can't record because Stephanie Kaiser, the law director, told everybody in the building, mainly Eric Keckler, that it's okay. She does not know that it's a constitutional right. She either does know or she don't care. Either way are unacceptable. Also, there are many other instances I could go into with fine detail that would show that most, if not all, elected officials and servants of the town that took an oath to the Constitution unfortunately don't know much about it. Don't blame you. I didn't know anything about it until 2001 when I simply called the police to enforce a law And they told me it's not their job. They're not going to do anything about it. And then I end up in court with 4 charges. When Mr. Wedge, the police officer, posts all this nice stuff on Facebook, he doesn't share all the truth. He's very selective on the information. I hope that I can soon meet with all of City Council and have some good interactions and possibly lean the city back towards having a elected law director rather than appointed. I believe that many of the actions suggested by law director Kaiser to Eric Keckler and to Mr. Manel have been inappropriately told without any consequences. There's no accountability or transparency. There's no accountability for nothing. There's no community engagement. Community engagement, Facebook. Let's wrap this up with a little Facebook talk. In October, the police chief shut down, meaning he shut off all the commenting on the Fostoria Police Division page because
Sorry, your time has expired.
I
Thank you.
appreciate every moment. Thank you much.
We will now move into the public portion of the meeting. I want to reiterate, as I was made aware of some of the statutes of the state of Ohio, I'm not sure what number this is. It says 3.01E. I'm not sure if that's part of 731.45 or. So our codified ordinances say, sorry, take off my glasses to read this. The procedures of council to adopt ordinances and resolutions, establish its rules, and an exercise of its powers shall be provided pursuant to the Ohio Constitution and as provided in this charter of the general laws of Ohio. If we go to, sorry, again, using my phone here to go to section 121.01 of our ordinances, we do establish time limits. If an individual is placed on the council agenda, they will have 10 minutes to speak, which is what we did this evening. All other public comments will be held to 3 minutes, which we're getting ready to go into. However, to talk about the rules that we did pass long ago, as is here, and this is where my apologies for allowing anonymous to be on the agenda, as it is a violation of our rules. It does say that members of the public shall give their name and address before addressing the council. So it's not a may, it is a shall, which is a must. So I apologize to this body that I allowed this to be put on the agenda. That is my fault. I wanted to honor my word of placing anonymous on the agenda because I said that we could make that happen. So it is truly my fault that I violated the rules of council, but it does say in here, and I'm going to read the entire paragraph, members of the public shall give their name and address before addressing council and shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. The council president may extend or limit a member of public with regard to the question depending on the number of speakers, the nature of the question before council, and the urgency of the questions. To require more time before council, a person must notify the president of council and or the clerk of council by the Thursday immediately preceding the meeting of their desire to be heard. No member of the public may ask a member of the administration or the council for an immediate response to any questions. Members of the public shall not ask any questions or make any comment that is derogatory, defamatory, for that is an affront to the dignity of the proceedings. That is directly from the rules of council that were established by our charter and pursuant to the Ohio Constitution. With that said, we are going to move into the general public portion, the non-agenda general public portion. And any of you may address council for 3 minutes, but you shall give us your name and address.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Kimball. I live at 714 Cherry Street. Excuse me, I'm a little nervous. I know there's not going to be enough time for what I have. My biggest concerns is the lack of help with mental illness, drug addiction, how there's no grief groups, for people who have lost their loved ones like me. I lost my daughter November 22nd or November 20th, 2022. And she suffered from mental illness and drug addiction, but the help wasn't here. I cried for help from the time she was 15 years old. She was 30 when she passed. I begged and pleaded for help, got nowhere. Now I'm left alone, and there's no grief groups. There's nothing in. I don't want to just linger in that, but I want you guys to think about the lack that we have here in Fostoria, because addiction and mental illness is crazy in this town, and it's on every street. Not one of you have a neighbor that probably doesn't suffer from one or the other. And I'm begging that we get help for future people, because no parent should go through what I'm going through. And my other concern is with Jackson Street. How the right side, all the vehicles that park down that side. So then you now have a street that's supposed to be a two-way street. It's now a one-way street for two ways, because all the cars are parked to the right. And the people that are coming from County Line way down that don't have the right of way don't care and are coming at you. I've had to drive off into people's yards. I'm not going to do it no more. If I hit a car head on, so be it. If I get hurt, I get hurt, because something's got to be done. If they want to park there, then take that middle medium, their front yard, and chew all that up into stone and let them park there so the street is open again, because it's a problem and it really needs to be addressed. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else from the public wish to address council this evening? Seeing no takers, we will move into old business.
A resolution approving the Hancock County Budget Commission's alternative method for apportionment of undivided local government fund to be called local government fund alternative method.
Move to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion by Lehman, a second by Cassidy. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Lehman,
Yes.
Podak,
Yes.
Cassidy,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Mendoza, Lake.
Yes.
My notes are correct. That is resolution number 2024-83. Thank you.
An ordinance amending section 941.04 of the codified ordinances of the city of Fostoria, Ohio to establish rates and requirements for receipt of sludge by the city of Fostoria wastewater treatment plant.
That is the second reading of that ordinance.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the community energy advisors to create an electric aggregation program and declaring an emergency to exist.
That is the second reading of that resolution. We can go into new business.
An ordinance to approve the municipal job creation tax credit agreement between the city of Fostoria, Ohio and National Electrical Carbon Products, Inc.
That is the first reading of that ordinance.
A resolution approving the Wood County final plan for implementing and operating a countrywide 911 system and declaring an emergency to exist.
That is the first reading of that resolution.
An ordinance establishing the position, salary, and qualifications for the position of full-time municipal project manager for the city of Fostoria, Ohio, and declaring an emergency to exist.
That is the first reading of that ordinance.
Discussion, please.
Sure.
Just a few questions. I'm not sure that they can be answered tonight, but maybe we can come back with those answers into the future. So I'm trying to recall my experience when I was with the school district, and we would have to have specs written and a project executed. And will this position as written have the qualifications to write those specs? Is that one of the savings that we will have on contract services?
The individual should be able to write the majority of the specs, correct?
Okay. And then if you're familiar with what these contracts look like, I'm thinking that there was a percentage tacked on to the total project that, let's say, for example, it's $1 million project. They kept we had to pay them a certain percentage above and beyond of that for management of the
I'm not
project.
specifically familiar with that, but I do know that if you contract out, you're going to be paying 15% overhead to any contractor, which would be in the project. But specifically, I'm not sure of the answer to your question.
Okay. And if we did that in-house, we could avoid that 15%. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. I'm just wondering, and I'll reach out to the finance director on this. Maybe by the next meeting, we could have, I know that they can't give solid numbers, but should be able to give us some projections to know what kind of cost savings we could potentially see by going this route.
We believe it to be significant.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, if you did $1 million project and you save 15%, that would more than pay for this person's salary. I did want to share with the rest of my council members that I did some research today and checked on Tiffin, Bowling Green, Fremont, and Bowling Green, our neighboring communities. They all have engineers. And what I was just really looking to was to test the salary ranges that we have in the job description, and they all fall within that. In fact, none of their salaries would fall in the lowest level that we have. They all fell in the mid-range, ranging anywhere from about 95,000 to 136. I really just wanted to share that with them and ask you those questions.
Sounds about right.
Any other discussion on this ordinance? All right, we'll move to the next one.
An ordinance establishing the position, salary, and qualifications for the position of did I already do that? Sorry.
Next one.
All right, got it. Sorry about that, guys. A resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Fostoria to prepare and submit a 2024 application to participate in the Hancock County Park Grant Program and to execute contracts as required and declaring an emergency to exist.
That is the first reading of that resolution. That concludes our new business. Is there any need to go into executive session? Seeing none, we'll move into the miscellaneous portion of the meeting.
I would like to announce that I will not be running for re-election of the 2025 election period. I have the 2025 will be my last year, and you have to be signed up by February the 5th, and you live in the 4th Ward and be a registered voter. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. So if you live in the 4th Ward and you've been interested in city council, this is your opportunity to get involved, and you can start pulling petitions. I think it's after the first of the year, but the deadline is February. So check with your local board of elections and get the proper paperwork. Any other miscellaneous this evening? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Cassie, a second by Lake. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Lehman,
Yes.
Hodak,
Yes.
Cassidy,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Lake.
Yes.
We are adjourned at 6:34 PM.